Leave. You're making him uncomfortable, she said when her ex showed up at her party. I nodded and left without a word. Packed all her things and changed the locks while she celebrated. She came home to her stuff in the hallway and a note. Now nobody's uncomfortable. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. And if you have your own story to share, send it to me. My contact info is in the description below. I'd love to feature it in an upcoming video. Thanks. Throwaway for obvious reasons. This happened about a year ago, but I've been lurking on here long enough to know stories like this blow up. Figured I'd share mine because, looking back, it's one of those tales where everything flips in the most satisfying way. I'm not here for advice, just venting and maybe giving some folks hope that karma does its thing sometimes. Buckle up, it's a long one. I'm Jake, 29 now, but 28 at the time. I work in IT for a mid-sized company in a decent-sized city. Nothing flashy, but it pays the bills and lets me have a life outside of work. I've always been the steady type, reliable, committed, the guy who shows up when he says he will. That's how I approached my relationship with Sarah. We met 3 years earlier through mutual friends at a casual game night. She was outgoing, funny, the kind of person who lights up a room. I was drawn to that energy, and we hit it off quick. Within 6 months, we were exclusive, and after 2 years, she moved into my apartment. It felt natural, like we were building something real. Looking back, I poured a lot into us. Sarah was a graphic designer freelancing from home, and her work was inconsistent, feast or famine. I'd cover rent when gigs dried up, no questions asked. I handled most of the bills, cooked dinners after long days, even helped her network by introducing her to some contacts from my job. There were little things too, like the time she had a family emergency back home. I drove 6 hours through pouring rain to pick her up from the airport when her flight got delayed, just so she wouldn't have to deal with a cab at 2 a.m. Or when she wanted to take an online course to boost her skills. I paid for it without hesitation, even though it meant skipping a guy's trip I'd planned. I wasn't keeping score. That's what you do when you love someone, right? I thought we were a team, but there were cracks I ignored. Sarah talked about her ex, Mike, more than felt normal. They'd dated for a couple years before me, ended messy, but she always framed it as ancient history. Still, she'd bring him up in random conversations, like comparing my safe job to his adventurous one as a freelance photographer. Mike was always chasing the next big shot, she'd say with this nostalgic smile. I'd brush it off, tell myself it was just talk. She posted old photos sometimes too, nothing overt, but enough to make me wonder. And emotionally, she started pulling away in the last few months. Less affection, more time on her phone, excuses about being stressed from work. I chalked it up to her birthday coming up. She was turning 27 and wanted a big bash. So, like the committed idiot I was, I threw myself into planning it. The party was my idea, actually. Sarah mentioned wanting to celebrate with friends, but she dragged her feet on details. I stepped up, rented extra speakers, ordered catering from her favorite spot, even decorated our apartment with string lights and balloons. I invited about 30 people, our mutual crew, her coworkers, a few of mine. Spent a solid weekend prepping, and the night before, I surprised her with a custom cake I'd had made with her design portfolio on it. "Jake, you're the best," she said, hugging me tight. For a moment, it felt like old times. I went to bed thinking, yeah, we're good. The party kicked off around 8 p.m. on a Friday. Music pumping, people mingling, drinks flowing. I played host, refilling ice, making introductions, ensuring everyone had a good time. Sarah was in her element, laughing with her girlfriends, snapping selfies. I caught her eye a few times, and she'd blow me a kiss. About an hour in, the doorbell buzzed. I opened it, and there was Mike. Tall, scruffy beard, camera slung over his shoulder like he was ready for a shoot. I hadn't invited him. "Hey man," he said, smirking. Sarah said to come by. I forced a smile, let him in, but my gut twisted. Why hadn't she mentioned it? I tried to play it cool, stuck to the kitchen mixing drinks. But as the night wore on, I noticed them. Sarah and Mike, huddled in the corner, heads close, her hand on his arm, while she laughed at something he said. Our friends shot me glances, but no one said anything. I felt like an outsider in my own home. Eventually, I wandered over, trying to join the conversation. "Hey, Mike, long time," I said casually, sliding an arm around Sarah's waist. She stiffened, just a bit, but I felt it. Mike shifted uncomfortably, avoiding my eyes. That's when it escalated. Mike muttered something to Sarah, and her face changed. She turned to me, right there in front of everyone, and said, "Jake, can we talk for a sec?" She pulled me aside to the hallway, but not far enough. Voices carried. "Look, Mike feels weird with you hovering. You're making him uncomfortable. This is my party. Maybe just give us some space? Go hang out in the bedroom or something until he leaves." I stared at her, the words hitting like a slap. "What? Sarah, this is our apartment. I'm not hovering. I live here." She rolled her eyes, that smug edge creeping in. "Oh, come on, don't be dramatic. Mike and I have history. We're just catching up. You're acting all insecure, and it's killing the vibe. It's not a big deal. Just chill out somewhere else for a bit. You'll be fine." "History? You're prioritizing your ex over me at a party I threw for you." She crossed her arms, voice sharpening. "See, this is why. You're turning this into something it's not. Mike's uncomfortable because you're glaring at him like some jealous boyfriend. I invited him because he's a friend. Get over it. If you can't handle that, maybe you should just leave for a while. Go grab a drink down the street, or whatever. The party's for me, not your ego." Her tone was dismissive, like I was a child throwing a tantrum. Twisted logic all the way, blaming me for the tension she created, justifying her favoritism as my insecurity. People nearby pretended not to hear, but the awkwardness hung thick. I felt the heat in my face, the confusion crashing in. How had we gotten here? But I didn't yell, didn't beg, didn't cause a scene. I just nodded, throat tight. "Okay, Sarah, if that's what you want." I grabbed my jacket from the coat rack, walked out the door without another word. The party sounds faded behind me as I hit the elevator. In the car, I sat for a minute, staring at the dashboard. Vulnerable didn't cover it. I was gutted. All those sacrifices, the loyalty I'd shown, and she tossed me aside like an inconvenience. For her ex. At her own party. The unfairness burned, but I drove to a nearby coffee shop, ordered a black brew, and just sat with it. No texts to her. No calls to friends. Just silence, letting the reality sink in. That was the moment I knew. We were done. I didn't go far that night. Just to a quiet diner a few blocks away, the kind with sticky booths and bottomless coffee refills. I sat there for hours, nursing a mug, staring at the steam rising like the fragments of our relationship evaporating. My phone buzzed a couple times, friends from the party checking in, probably sensing the weirdness. "You okay, man?" one texted. I replied with a thumbs up, nothing more. Sarah didn't reach out. Not a single message asking where I was or if I was coming back. That silence spoke volumes. It confirmed what I'd been ignoring. I was the backup, the safe option, while Mike was the spark she couldn't let go of. By midnight, the party would still be going, but I drove home. The apartment was empty when I got there. Everyone gone, lights off, remnants of the celebration scattered like confetti mocking me. Empty cups, half-eaten cake, balloons deflating on the floor. I stood in the living room, the weight of it all pressing down. Confusion swirled. How had my loyalty turned into this? I'd given up weekends, savings, emotional bandwidth, for what? To be sidelined at my own event? The unfairness gnawed at me, but I didn't smash anything. Didn't cry. I just detached. Like flipping a switch from us to me. I started in the bedroom. Pulled out her suitcases from the closet. The ones we'd used for that trip to the coast last summer, back when things felt solid. Methodically, I folded her clothes, packed her shoes, her makeup, her laptop charger. No rush, no anger-fueled frenzy. It was practical, almost therapeutic. Each item reminded me of a sacrifice. The dress I bought her for a work event, the books she'd borrowed from my shelf and never returned. I boxed up her freelance supplies from the living room desk, even the half-dead plant she'd insisted on keeping. The note came last, a simple post-it on the top suitcase. "Now nobody's uncomfortable." It echoed her words back, without the smugness. Just facts. Then, the locks. I called a 24-hour locksmith from the diner, explained it as a security issue. He showed up at 1 a.m., no questions asked beyond the fee. While he worked, I transferred the utilities back to my name only. Quick online changes, nothing dramatic. By 2 a.m., her stuff was in the hallway outside the door, neatly stacked. I double-checked for anything I'd missed, then locked up. Slept on the couch that night, phone on silent. No emotional outburst, no confrontation planned. She'd made her choice. I'd made mine. The next morning, I woke up early, feeling hollow but clear-headed. I blocked her number temporarily, not out of spite, but to give myself space. Called in sick to work, then hit the gym for the first time in months. Pushed through a workout that left me sore but focused. That afternoon, I met a buddy for coffee, the same one who'd texted. Told him the basics, no dramatics. She kicked me out of my own party for her ex, I said flatly. He whistled low. Dude, that's messed up. What now? I shrugged. Moving on. No begging for advice, no ranting. Just acceptance. The days blurred after that. I dove into work, landing a side project that kept me busy. Started therapy, online sessions, nothing fancy, but it helped unpack the confusion. You were emotionally abandoned long before that party, the therapist said in our second call. It clicked, the comparisons to Mike, the pulling away. I'd been a placeholder. I journaled a bit, too, private stuff, reflecting on what I'd given up. Like how I'd skipped a promotion opportunity last year because it meant relocating and Sarah didn't want to move. Or the nights I'd stayed up helping her with deadlines while she scrolled through social media. The silence from her side stretched. No immediate blow-up, which almost hurt more. It was like I'd vanished from her world already. A week in, I unblocked her, but only because mutual friends started relaying messages. Sarah's freaking out, one said. Says she can't get in. I nodded, changed the subject. Internally, the vulnerability faded. I wasn't confused anymore. I was done. Started small changes. Rearranged the apartment, bought new sheets, even adopted a routine of evening walks. Felt the arc shifting, from hurt to something steadier. Friends noticed. You seem lighter, one commented at a casual hangout. I was. The betrayal had been outrageous, undeserved, but sitting with it in silence? That built resilience. No disappearing act yet. I stayed in the city, but emotionally, I was miles away, ready for whatever came next, without her. About 2 months later, the pieces started falling into place on her end. I didn't stalk her socials, had muted them all, but word got around through our overlapping circle. Turns out, after the party, she'd crashed at Mike's place. Catching up turned into rekindling, fast and furious. But Mike? Unstable as hell. The adventurous photographer gig was a front for flaky jobs and jealousy rages. Friends whispered he'd blown up at her over nothing. A text from a male client, her liking an old photo of us. He'd accuse her of using him, then ghost for days, leaving her spiraling. It unraveled quick. Mike discarded her after a big fight. Something about her clinging to the past, ironic as that was. Dumped her via text, blocked her everywhere. She tried crashing with a girlfriend, but that soured when the truth spread. How she'd humiliated me publicly. Mutual friends pulled back, one by one. Texts went unanswered. Invites dried up. We heard what happened at the party. A couple admitted to me over beers. Can't defend that. Her freelance work tanked too. Focus gone from the drama. Deadlines missed. Clients bailing. Last I heard indirectly, she was crashing on her sister's couch, scraping by with gig apps. Reputation in tatters. Isolated, broke, irrelevant. Karma didn't need my help. It hit hard on its own, mirroring how she'd treated me, like an afterthought. I didn't gloat, didn't seek updates. But when fragments reached me, it felt just. The smugness she'd shown, gone, replaced by the consequences of her choices. Satisfying, in a quiet way. The unraveling didn't take long before Sarah started circling back. It began about 3 months after the party, right as her life hit rock bottom. First, it was a text. My phone lit up one evening while I was cooking dinner for myself. Jake, we need to talk. This is ridiculous. Let me grab my stuff at least. No apology, just entitlement, like I'd overreacted. I didn't respond. A day later, another. Seriously? You're ignoring me? After everything. Still radio silence from me. Then the call started, voicemails piling up. I listened to the first one out of curiosity. Jake, pick up. I know you're there. Mike was a mistake, okay? He flipped out over nothing and kicked me out. I'm at my sister's now, and it's awful. We had something good. You can't just throw it away like this. Call me back. Her voice cracked a bit, but the manipulation shone through, framing it as my fault, minimizing her betrayal. I deleted it, blocked the number again. But she escalated. Used a friend's phone next time, catching me off guard during lunch at work. Jake? It's Sarah. Don't hang up. I paused, fork midway. What do you want? God, finally. Look, I'm sorry about the party. I was drunk, stressed. Mike showed up and things got weird. But you're being so cold. We lived together for a year. You owe me a conversation at least. Can I come by? Just to talk. Oh, her. The hypocrisy burned. No, Sarah. You made your choice that night. Prioritizing your ex, kicking me out of my own home. We're done. But it wasn't like that. You were acting jealous, making everyone uncomfortable. I just needed space. Mike's gone now. He was abusive, controlling. I see that. We can start over. Please. Twisted logic again, blaming my jealousy while admitting Mike's flaws. Her tone shifted from pleading to desperate. Jake, I'm broke. Freelance dried up because of all this stress. My friends aren't talking to me. They think I'm the villain. But you know me better. Come on, let's fix this. I stayed calm, voice even. Goodbye, Sarah. Hung up, blocked that number too. She didn't stop. Involved her family next, toxic as expected. Her sister called a week later, voice dripping with judgment. Jake, this is Emily. Sarah's a mess because of you. She told me what happened. Sounds like you overreacted big time. Kicking her out? Changing locks? That's low. She's family. You need to man up and talk to her. Give her another chance. She's learned her lesson. Emily, this isn't your business. Sarah humiliated me publicly. I'm not interested. Oh, please. Relationships have ups and downs. You're just punishing her. Selfish, if you ask me. Click. Unpleasant, pushy, like Sarah's entitlement ran in the family. The attempts peaked with a surprise visit. I was home one Saturday, mid-workout, when the buzzer rang. Through the intercom, Jake, it's me. Let me up. We have to sort this. I didn't buzz her in. She waited outside for an hour, according to the doorman, then left a note under the door. This is getting pathetic. You're heartless. I thought you were better than this. Anger creeping in now, her true colors showing. From desperate pleas to rage when I wouldn't budge. Friends got roped in too. One mutual acquaintance texted, Hey, Sarah asked me to reach out. She's really sorry, man. Thinks you two could work. I replied politely. Appreciate it, but no. The harassment tapered after that, but each attempt just reinforced my detachment. I wasn't moved. Her desperation was her problem now. It all culminated at our mutual friend Tom's birthday gathering, about 6 months post-party. Casual bar set up downtown, low-key, good vibes. I'd been invited weeks earlier, figured it'd be fine. Walked in with Lisa, a woman I'd met through work a couple months back. Nothing serious yet, but she was kind, grounded, made me laugh without the drama. We were at a high-top table, chatting with the group, when Sarah appeared. Disheveled, hair messy, eyes red like she'd been crying. Alone, nursing a drink at the bar, until she spotted me. She approached hesitantly, voice shaky. Jake, hey, didn't expect you here. Can we talk? Privately. The group went quiet. I stayed seated calm. Sarah, what is it? Her eyes flicked to Lisa, then back. Who's this? Anyway, look, I messed up. Big time. Mike was a disaster. He used me and bailed. I'm alone now, scraping by. Seeing you here, it hits me what I lost. We were good together. Give me another shot? Please. Desperation peaked, tears welling, hands twisting. But I felt nothing. No sympathy, no pull. Just closure. Sarah, you said I was making him uncomfortable. So I left. Gave you space. Now, you're making me uncomfortable. That chapter's closed. She blinked, words echoing back like a mirror. But I didn't mean it like that. Come on, Jake. We've got history. History you prioritized over us. Facts are, I've moved on. Built a better life. Promotion at work, new routines, people who value me. I nodded toward Lisa, who smiled supportively. You're irrelevant now. Wish you well, but don't contact me again. Her face crumpled, hypocrisy exposed, power flipped. She muttered something angry under her breath, like, you'll regret this, and stormed out. The bar exhaled. Friends clapped me on the back later. Handled like a boss. That was it. Emotional freedom hit fully then. No more confusion, just peace. Life's thriving without her shadow. If you're in a similar spot, Reddit, detach, rebuild. Karma handles the rest. Update. A year on, I'm engaged to Lisa. Sarah? Last I heard, still struggling. But she's not my story anymore. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.